Hi, me again. So this might be a slightly longer video than I usually do, but what I want to discuss is some things regarding Stan Meyer's EPG Canadian patent, specifically that number, and some of the things inside the patent. Now, my main focus for my future experiments is just to validate some of the claims that are in this patent. He's got another one that's that I'll hit on here in a minute. I've been really researching these patents for a while, and I just want to go over some of my thoughts for the future and show you some excerpts from the actual patent that I'm referencing. So we're going to start off with this patent. I've highlighted some things in the abstract that I'm going to read and probably show on camera if they show up. So, we have a hydrogen and oxygen gas mixture outlet means connected to the collection chamber of the generator includes a magnetic polarizer for establishing a magnetic field and thereby imparting a magnetic potential to the hydrogen gas and the oxygen gas as they are being pressure released from the collection chamber. Now, it's very simple to see. Please just disregard my notes and notations here. But basically we have hydrogen and oxygen being released, going through a permanent magnetic field which is perpendicular or at right angles, as we can see, to some tubing. It passes some coils, series for AC, parallel for DC, goes back through a accelerator assembly, etc. And this one shows the accelerator assembly being that of a turbine wheel. Now, some of the claims in here is what I'm going to validate. I'm doing some small-scale experiments, as it shows here. As the magnetic particles through the core of the winding, there is induced a voltage and current therein, which may be utilized in the same manner as any electrical source. And it says again, adjacent to the outlet, a magnetic polarizer establishes a magnetic field and imparts a magnetic potential to the hydrogen and oxygen gases being released from the pressure chamber. It says, the apparatus comprises a non-magnetic pipe in a closed loop having a substantial amount of magnetic particles encapsulated therein. So that tells me that there is not only a high volume, but there is also a high pressure. Now, one of the very important things that I am going to note, Stan notes, is that it is understood, of course, that the hydrogen generator may be that of the electrolysis process. It's only more costly and less efficient, according to Myers. Therefore, I bought this. There you go. There's just some free advertisement. I'm not associated with them. I just purchased their product. This is just a plate cell that I'm going to do to get my hydrogen and my oxygen. That's just me testing my tubing fit. So, here we go. The magnetic field, which is represented, that I just showed you by the permanent magnet, in turn imparts a magnetic charge to the gases released from the storage chamber. Hydrogen particles become positively magnetically charged, and the oxygen becomes negatively magnetically charged, producing a magnetic gas mixture. So, that's what we got here. The magnetically charged gas particles traveling with a high pressure velocity pass through the tubing 50. So they're at a high velocity. And it goes on to say that the volume of the hydrogen and oxygen gas directed by the storage area determines the magnetic field strength. Which makes perfect sense, because if you have, let's say, a ferrite magnet, the more ferrite atoms or building blocks or whatever that you have, the more magnetic field. Like more wraps of copper on a coil, the stronger the magnetic field. So, to increase the gas pressure in chamber 23, other non-combustible gases such as nitrogen are added to the mixture. So he's probably using nitrogen, as Stan liked to do, to just increase the pressure of the actual gases coming out. Now, I'm going to go over my setup that you'll be hopefully able to see in future videos here. And what my plans are. Well, you already saw my cell, so just a plate cell. Now this is where I hope the magic happens. Now you're probably going to say, hey, Stan showed copper EPGs. You're absolutely correct. He did. Multiple pictures. Now Max has built one that is identical to this. Max Miller, I have personally seen him on multiple occasions, as well as Frank Sullivan. And Frank most notably did the wonderful experiment of the laser injection. But anybody who's familiar with Stan's stuff will say, hey, you're using CPVC, you're not using copper. Here's why. In the United States patent 4613304, it says in the abstract, I have to find it. I'm very sorry that I was not better prepared for this. Okay, right here. Attached to the gas collection chamber outlet is a non-magnetic, non-conductive closed loop of tubing. The polarized magnetic particles are caused to circulate therein via electrical or mechanical pumping action. So, what I have here is I have an all plastic construction, minus obviously the copper, and there'll be another pickup coil on this one of a thicker gauge. So I haven't assembled this yet. So what we have here is just an adapter, half-inch adapter with a 3/8 hose barb. Same thing on the other one. This is going to come from, or my tubing is 3/8, that's why I'm using it. Hydrogen and oxygen will be released out of here. There will be an inlet means here via the vinyl or the Tygon, whatever tubing, lab tubing. I will have a N50 neodymium magnet placed at right angles right before it goes in. The gases will be circulated through the PVC tubing. They will come out here. They're going to be circulated by, do not laugh at me, please, an air mattress pump. Reason being is because the tubing that I'm using actually fits on the connectors of a air mattress pump, and it was cheap, and it's all plastic construction. So, there's no metallic turbine in it. And it moves a lot of air very quickly, as anybody who's ever camped knows. Now, my main purpose just for this is not even to generate electrical energy. My main purpose is to validate hydrogen and oxygen coming from a normal electrolysis cell as claimed in the patent that I just showed. As I just showed in this patent, where it clearly says it can be of electrolysis process. The hydrogen generator can be that of an electrolysis process. That's what this is going to be. So, basically the only thing I am trying to validate here is hydrogen and oxygen can be permanently magnetized. Second claim that I'm going to prove or disprove, as far as my setup goes, is it will generate power in this coil. Now, I want to make it very clear. I am not doing this to disprove Stan Meyer in any way or form. I am merely here to show experimental results on a small scale. I'm just trying to validate claims in his patent. The reason why is because, I'm trying to validate the claims is, so other people who want to research and everything, they don't spend, time, effort, money, etc., and come up with nothing. I'm doing small scale experiments, going by the patents word for word, as you just saw, that will validate the claims that Meyer had that hydrogen and oxygen can be used to generate electrical energy. If it works, it works. If my setup doesn't, then you know not to build it this way. Now, while I am a die-hard Tesla fan, I have to give credit where credit is due when Edison said he found 100 ways how not to make a light bulb. Well, this may be a way to not make an EPG. So, that is what it is. We will all learn from it. So stay tuned for this. Research the patents, and stay tuned. Thanks for watching. There's a Louis sighting.